What's up, everyone? This is your man Jay, and I want to welcome you to the JayJayCool streaming playback. We'll provide commentary for some of my weekly streaming moments and highlights. Now, in today's episode, we will be continuing my Pokemon Emerald post-game journey of catching all the legendary Pokemon. Last time, we tackled the Weather Trio, Ho-Oh and Lugia, Latias, Mew, and Deoxys. This episode, we will be tackling the legendary beasts and the Kanto birds. But enough of the intro, let's dive into the journey. For the Kanto birds, I decided to take on Moltres first. As discussed before, you can't naturally catch the beasts or birds in Emerald, so I had to input codes to make them spawn. Since they didn't have set locations in Hoenn, I decided to make them spawn in spots that generally fit where you would probably find them in Hoenn. So for Moltres, I initially picked Jagged Pass, right outside of Magma Hideout. After taking out a trainer I neglected at the bottom of Jagged Pass, I got to the spot I wanted to find Moltres and began the encounters. This is where things got interesting and very annoying. Compared to the Weather Trio and Johto Flyers, the Kanto birds are frail. So combine that and a super effective move from a Pokemon 6 or 7 levels higher than it, and it can lead to some unfortunate KOs. That's exactly what happened the first few tries. Ampharos unleashed one Thunderbolt and fried Moltres on the first go round, and then Xatu took it out with Psychic on the next try. I decided to make a location change and that maybe Magma Hideout would fit Moltres better. I tangentially thought I would have better luck with the bird in there. I didn't. First, I encountered Graveler and remembered that I reset the game without saving the codes first. So I had to re-input all the codes just to get the encounters I wanted. After more setting up, it was time for the Firebird. The next try started decent, but after paralyzing it and bringing in Macargo to try and do chip damage to whittle down its HP to red, Macargo's flamethrower crit Moltres in yellow HP, KOing the dumb flame chicken again. 3 tries, 3 KOs. I was already frustrated. On the next try, I finally got to throw a ball at it, but the ball didn't even shake. This trend of Johto and Kanto legends not shaking in balls is continuing, I see. After several turns of it breaking out and wearing down my team with Fire Spin, I eventually caught it. I realized at this point the birds were going to be as stubborn as the Johto Flyers. With one down, I decided to prepare for the next bird, Articuno. After stocking up on items, I headed to Shoal Cave, the location I decided on for Articuno. I was hoping for low tide so I could reach the icy basement. After navigating through the cave, reaching the icy basement, and solving the ice puzzle, it was time to take on the frozen chicken. Articuno was a much easier time than Moltres, as it only took 2 short tries to catch it. The main annoyance I had with Articuno was that despite being paralyzed, it was able to use agility and move first. This also happened throughout the Moltres encounter. Despite the agility shenanigans it pulled, I managed to catch it on the first ball of the second attempt. After finally catching it, it was time to move on to the final legendary bird, Zapdos, in New Mauville. I headed straight to New Mauville and headed to the back where the generator was for my final encounter. Zapdos proved to be a bit more interesting due to its moveset. On the first turn of the encounter, it used Attack, something I wasn't expecting. I quickly switched to Steelix after paralyzing it due to Steelix not being affected by any of Zapdos' moves. After getting its HP down to red, it was time for Pokeballs. Like Moltres, the stupid jagged bird didn't want to shake the Pokeballs at first. But, before long, I managed to catch it, solidifying the legendary birds. Now, it was time for the beasts. Surely they can't be that bad. I decided to start off with Entei, as it was my favorite of the beasts going into the challenge. Keywords going into, because after this challenge, it made me realize how annoying trying to catch this godforsaken lion dog was. Initially, I chose to encounter it in the Scorched Slab, but quickly had to pivot when I remembered that you can't encounter Pokemon in there. Scorched Slab has to be one of the most useless locations in Pokemon. All you can find there is the TM for Sunny Day. I had a bit of trouble figuring out where I wanted Entei to spawn because outside of Mount Chimney and Jagged Pass, there weren't many fiery locations I could think of. I settled for a Ruster tunnel for no apparent reason and began the encounters. Side note, I forgot Fiery Path existed, and I could have just navigated through to the back of the cave, but it was already too late. Once there, it was time to begin. I got to paralyze it, and it roared. This irritated me to no end because this would be the trend for the next 15 minutes. I attack, it flees. I even tested to see if I didn't attack, would it flee? And no, it would only flee if I went for a move or I tried to attack. It was annoying. At one point, I initially gave up and went to catch Trapinch because it had the ability Arena Trap, which blocked running away. But it was far too underleveled to do anything and would just get O-code whenever I sent it out. Eventually, I finally got it before it decided to run away, only after it withered my own HP down. One beast down, two to go. I was not excited for Raikou because I knew it would use the same cheeky roar strategy as Entei. Following the hell that was Entei, I decided to heal up and stock up on items to deal with Raikou, the second beast, and the other one that knew Roar. I decided to head to the summit of Mount Pyre to encounter it, as I thought it made the most sense due to Raikou being a reincarnate of a fallen Pokemon, and I figured it would be somewhere in the mountains close to the sky. Once I got there, it was time to begin the encounter. This encounter was going very similar to Entei because whenever I tried to attack, it would run. I even tried to arena trap it to no avail. I was honestly losing patience and getting tired very fast. No joke, at one point I was so irritated and tired from chasing after the saber-toothed tiger thing, I fell asleep for about 20 seconds. I spent 20 minutes going through the same song and dance with this thing before finally getting lucky and catching it at full health due to me not attacking it once. I had to let this thing beat up on my Ampharos just to have a chance at it. I was mind blown, but relieved when I finally got it. With Raikou out of the way, there's only one beast left, Suicune. I knew going into this encounter it would be much better than the last two due to Suicune not having Roar. After healing up and restocking on supplies, and dropping Trapinch from my team because I wouldn't need Arena Trap, I headed to Meteor Falls for the last Johto counter. Once there, I ran into it. Altogether, this encounter took 5 minutes. It was the quickest encounter of the stream session by far. It took an extra try because Octillery accidentally crit Suicune with Surf and Yellow, but that didn't bother me too much. All in all, I managed to wear it down a second time and snag the Blue Leopard Beast. The beasts were done. I can't tell you how relieved I am now that this part of the challenge is over with. Entei and Raikou almost ruined the enjoyment of this challenge for me entirely. But now I have the Weather Trio, Deoxys, Latias, Mew, Ho-Oh Flyers, the Legendary Birds from Kanto, and the Legendary Beasts. All that's left for me to take care of is Latios, the Regis, Mewtwo, Jirachi, and Celebi. I think what I'm going to do is split that up in half instead of doing one big stream. So I'll do the Regis and Latios on one stream, and then I'll do Mewtwo, Jirachi, and Celebi on the other stream. That's all for me on today's episode. If you want to catch my live streams of these games, please hop over to my Twitch page. Also, please join my Discord as I do post schedule updates and content updates regarding my Twitch page on there. But this is Jay signing off.